The year was 2117, and humanity stood on the precipice of greatness. Earth, once a planet plagued by wars and environmental decay, had undergone a miraculous transformation. Through the ingenuity of its people, rapid technological advances had reversed the damage to the planet's ecosystems, creating a sustainable home for all. But with the healing of Earth came an insatiable curiosity, a hunger for something beyond the confines of their world. In the distant corners of the cosmos, the discovery of alien life, beings both benevolent and hostile, had shaken humanity's long-held view of the universe. Yet it was the discovery of an ancient alien artifact, a cosmic beacon deep within the asteroid belt, that would ignite the spark that led to humanity's epic journey into the stars. Dr. Evelyn Brasker, the brilliant astrophysicist leading the team at the Orbital Research Station, was the first to decode the beacon's message. It was a warning. A prophecy of sorts, of ancient species who once ruled the stars, beings who now viewed humanity with a mix of admiration and apprehension. They had witnessed the rise of other species, but none had ever ascended so quickly to the stars. Humanity's potential was limitless, but so were the dangers that lay ahead. This message set in motion a chain of events that would push humanity to the edge of the known universe. In a subterranean research facility beneath the snowy peaks of the Andes, a team of engineers led by Captain Jax Korik and Commander Lyra Solis worked tirelessly to build the first ship capable of reaching the farthest stars. It wasn't just any spacecraft, it was the pride of Earth, a colossal vessel designed not only for interstellar travel but as a symbol of Earth's rebirth. Every inch of the ship was meticulously crafted to carry humanity's hopes, dreams, and ambitions. The launch of the Pride of Earth would mark the beginning of humanity's expansion into the universe, but the journey would be fraught with peril. The vessel's journey to the distant reaches of the stars would not be an easy one. They would encounter strange new worlds, some of which would become allies, and others, enemies. Dr. Brasker, ever the visionary, saw the Pride of Earth not just as a ship, but as a harbinger of humanity's place in the galaxy. In secret meetings held in the bowels of government buildings, a shadowy council of Earth's leaders made plans to send a message to the stars, an unequivocal declaration that humanity would not be kept in the dark ages of its own solar system any longer. Earth would join the galactic stage, not as a pawn, but as a force to be reckoned with. However, as the Pride of Earth was being prepared for its inaugural voyage, strange reports began to surface. Alien ships, some with familiar markings and others entirely unknown, were sighted near Earth's orbit. It wasn't just the Pride of Earth that they were interested in. There were whispers of ancient factions, old powers from beyond the stars, who were growing increasingly concerned with humanity's rapid rise. The first to voice these concerns was General Arik Valderin, a former military strategist turned galactic diplomat. He had seen the rise of many species, but none as fast and as determined as humanity. Valderin's experience with the power dynamics of the galaxy led him to believe that the real danger was not from the known threats but from those whose existence humanity had yet to uncover. There were forces far older than the human race, and they were not eager to share the stars. Yet, there was no turning back now. The launch of the Pride of Earth would go ahead as planned, and with it, humanity's declaration of independence from the stagnation of its homeworld. But in the dark corners of the galaxy, ancient eyes were watching, waiting for the moment when humanity would take its first step into the void. It was on a cool September morning that the countdown began. The world paused, holding its breath as the ship's engines hummed to life. The Pride of Earth was not merely a ship, it was a statement. A declaration of what humanity was capable of when united in purpose and vision. As the countdown reached zero, the Pride of Earth soared into the sky, tearing through the atmosphere and into the black void. Humanity's epic journey had begun, and they would soon realize that the stars were not as empty as they had once believed. The galaxy was alive with mysteries, ancient powers, and untold dangers. But in the heart of humanity, there burned a single, unwavering truth: they would not be forgotten. They would not be ignored. The stars belonged to them as much as anyone else. And thus began the great adventure that would take humanity far beyond the stars, and reshape the galaxy forever. The Pride of Earth had been in space for 3 months, crossing the borders of the solar system into uncharted territory. The crew, composed of humanity's best scientists, engineers, diplomats, and soldiers, had adjusted to life in the vast emptiness. The journey was supposed to be a grand adventure, a chance to discover new worlds, new civilizations, and new knowledge, but it quickly became clear that it was also a test of humanity's survival. Captain Jax Corrick stood on the bridge, gazing at the stars beyond. His mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. The Pride of Earth was not just a ship, it was the symbol of humanity's future. He couldn't help but feel the weight of the expectations resting on his shoulders. Yet, as much as he believed in the potential of humanity, he knew that the unknowns of the universe could bring unforeseen challenges. And they weren't alone. It had started with small anomalies, strange radio signals that seemed to follow their course. At first, they dismissed it as interference or the usual space weather, but as the weeks went on, the signals became more complex. A pattern was emerging, one that was unmistakably artificial. Someone, or something, was out there, and it was aware of them. The breakthrough came one evening when Dr. Evelyn Brasker, tirelessly monitoring the signals, finally decoded a portion of the message. It was brief, but the words sent a chill down her spine. The message read, *, we have been watching. Do not tread where you are not welcome. *. A warning. The crew was thrown into turmoil. The Pride of Earth had encountered its first real mystery, and it was a threat they could not ignore. The captain convened an emergency meeting, bringing together the key officers and strategists. Valderin, who had been appointed as the ship's lead diplomat, spoke first. This is no ordinary encounter. Someone, some species, is aware of our presence. They are warning us off, and that means they are powerful enough to do something about it if we don't heed their advice. Dr. Brasker, shaking off the chill the message had sent through her, added, this is not just a random message. The language structure is too sophisticated. Whoever sent it has knowledge of advanced technology, and they're clearly monitoring us. But what do they mean by, do not tread where you are not welcome? Are we intruding on their territory? Captain Corrick, his brow furrowed, glanced over at Commander Lyra Solis, who had been monitoring the ship's sensors. Her face was tense, and she shook her head. There's more. We've detected faint signatures of alien ships near our location. We can't get a clear fix on them, but they're out there, lurking just beyond the edges of our sensors. And they're moving closer. The implications of this discovery were not lost on anyone. They were not just exploring, they were entering someone's home. And whoever these beings were, they did not seem inclined to welcome humanity with open arms. The captain made a decision. We need to know who's out there before we make any further moves. Evacuate the area and set course for the nearby star system. Let's find a place to regroup, figure out what we're up against, and decide how to proceed. We can't risk making an enemy of someone we don't understand. As the Pride of Earth shifted course, the crew braced for whatever lay ahead. But even as they moved away from the immediate threat, an eerie feeling lingered. The stars seemed less inviting now. The vast emptiness of space suddenly felt crowded with unseen eyes, all watching, waiting. It wasn't long before the crew of the Pride of Earth received an unexpected visitor. An alien ship, sleek and metallic, emerged from the shadows of an asteroid belt. The craft was like nothing the humans had ever seen. Its design was elegant, flowing, and almost organic, as though it had grown rather than been built. It was a symbol of a civilization that had long mastered the mysteries of the cosmos. The ship hailed them, and the message that came through the communication channels was clear, though its tone was cold. This is the Iliator. You are trespassing in the sacred territories of the Eternal Ascendants. State your intentions, human. The words hit the crew like a hammer. The Iliator were a name spoken only in hushed tones by those who studied ancient alien civilizations. They were a species that had long ago attained a godlike status in their corner of the galaxy, and their reach extended far and wide. The Pride of Earth had crossed into the heart of their domain without even realizing it. Captain Corrick stood firm. We come in peace. We are explorers, seeking knowledge and cooperation, not conquest. The response was swift. Asterisk, you will leave now, or we will remove you. Asterisk. Humanity had just made its first contact with a truly ancient and powerful race, and the message could not have been clearer. The stars were not empty, and not all were as welcoming as Earth had hoped. The future of humanity's journey into the stars would depend on how they navigated this delicate first encounter. They were no longer just explorers, they were intruders in a land that was already claimed. The Iliator's message echoed in the control room of the Pride of Earth, sending a ripple of tension through the crew. Captain Korik stood motionless at the helm, staring at the holographic image of the alien ship hovering before them, a sleek and imposing silhouette against the vast backdrop of space. The ship seemed to pulse with a sense of purpose, like a living entity watching their every move. "We don't have much time," Korik said, his voice steady but laced with the weight of the moment. "Prepare the ship for a full defense protocol. Commander Solis, get me all the information we can on the Iliator. If we're going to survive this, we need to understand exactly who we're dealing with." The crew scrambled to their stations. The ship's defense systems powered up, but everyone knew they weren't yet prepared for a confrontation with a civilization that could wipe them out with a thought, should they wish it. The Iliator were not a species that left room for negotiation, at least, not from a newcomer. They had always believed in their supremacy, a belief that had kept them isolated from the rest of the galaxy for eons. Dr. Brasker, who had been poring over the data on the Iliator, looked up from her screen. "They're ancient, older than most of the known species in this sector. According to the records, they were once the rulers of a vast empire, but something happened. They withdrew from the galaxy, and no one knows why. There are rumors, though, whispers that they're not entirely biological anymore. That they may have transcended to a higher state of being." General Valderin, ever the strategist, crossed his arms. "Transcended? So, what, they're godlike now? This is bad. The Iliator don't strike me as the kind of species that leaves room for rivals." Korik nodded, his eyes hardening with determination. "We don't know what they want, but we can't afford to just back down. They're offering us a choice, leave or face consequences. It's a test. And we're not going to show fear. We're humanity. We've faced extinction before, and we've never turned away from a challenge. If they want us to leave, they'll have to force us." Valderin stepped forward, his voice firm. "We may not have the firepower to face them in a direct confrontation, but we have something they may not expect, our resolve. If they push us, we'll push back. We'll show them that humanity doesn't kneel to anyone, no matter how powerful." Just then, a holographic transmission flickered into life. It was a message from the Iliator, their alien visage appearing as an ethereal being of light and energy, a striking figure who seemed to exist simultaneously in multiple dimensions. Their form shimmered, their eyes radiating with an almost overwhelming presence. The voice that followed was chilling, though it carried no malice, only a cold, dispassionate tone. Asterisk, "You persist in your defiance, human. Know this, the eternal ascendants have watched your kind for eons. We allowed your primitive species to grow, to rise from the ashes of your dying world. But your time in the stars is not yet. You are not ready to walk among the celestial powers." Asterisk. The captain's jaw tightened, but he held his ground. "We may not be ready by your standards, but we will be. We will prove that humanity deserves its place in the galaxy." The Iliator's form flickered, and their tone shifted slightly, as if they were pondering the captain's words. Asterisk, "A challenge, then. Very well. You will face the trial of the void. Survive it, and we will consider your species worthy of existence beyond your homeworld. Fail, and we will extinguish you before you become a threat. Prepare yourselves, human." Asterisk. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. "What the hell is the trial of the void?" Solis asked, her voice edged with concern. "I don't know," Korik replied, his gaze fixed on the view of the Iliator ship, now moving away. "But it sounds like they want to see what we're made of. And it sounds like a trap." Valderin looked at Korik, then at the rest of the crew. We can't afford to turn back. Whatever this trial is, it's our only chance to prove humanity's worth. If we fail, they'll erase us. If we succeed, we might just show the galaxy that humanity belongs in the stars. With a deep breath, Korik made his decision. Set course for the coordinates they transmitted. We're going to face whatever this trial is, head on. We're humanity. We don't back down. Not from anyone. As the pride of Earth moved toward the coordinates, a heavy anticipation hung over the crew. They were about to enter the heart of an ancient trial, one that would either prove humanity's resolve, or lead to their annihilation. The stakes had never been higher. There was no turning back. The trial of the void awaited. And whatever it was, humanity would face it with all the courage they had. Because one thing was clear, this was no ordinary test. This was a fight for survival, a fight for their place in the cosmos. And they would fight, no matter what it took. The pride of Earth cruised through the emptiness, heading into a section of space that felt colder than anything the crew had encountered before. The once familiar backdrop of stars was now distorted, twisted into a strange, disorienting kaleidoscope, as though the very fabric of space itself had been warped. It was as if the universe itself was holding its breath. "We're entering the coordinates," Commander Solis reported, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Something's wrong, everything is off. The stars, they're bending." The crew watched in awe, a mixture of awe and fear crossing their faces as the space around them seemed to distort. The view outside the observation windows blurred, and the ship systems flickered erratically. Dr. Brasker, who had been working feverishly to understand the alien technology behind the Iliator's warning, turned to the captain, her voice tense. "This is no ordinary anomaly. It's like a black hole, but without the typical gravitational pull. More like a rift, or a test. We're about to enter the void." Korik, with his usual resolve, stood tall. "Brace yourselves. The Iliator warned us this would happen. Whatever this is, we can't back down now." The trial had begun. Suddenly, a ripple of energy coursed through the ship, sending tremors throughout the hull. Lights dimmed, and gravity fluctuated briefly before stabilizing again. The crew was thrown into a momentary chaos, struggling to hold on to their stations as alarms blared throughout the ship. "Report," Korik demanded. Solis immediately took control of the ship's systems, stabilizing their trajectory. "We're still on course. But the energy signatures, they're growing exponentially. Something's out there, something powerful. We're not alone." Dr. Brasker's voice was a whisper of realization. "The trial of the void, it's a gauntlet. A test of survival, of resolve. The Iliator are watching us, waiting for us to break. And they've unleashed something to test us." The first of many challenges arrived almost immediately. A massive wave of energy shot through the rift, engulfing the pride of Earth in a shimmering, electric storm. The ship's shields flared as the turbulence began to tear at the vessel, twisting it like a leaf caught in the wind. "Shields at 60%. Solis yelled as the ship began to shudder violently. Korik gripped the armrest of his chair, his teeth clenched. "Hold it together. Dr. Brasker, can you help stabilize the energy field?" Brasker nodded, her hands flying over the controls. "I'll try to counteract the fluctuations, but this is unlike anything we've ever encountered. If we don't maintain power to the shields, we'll lose integrity." The crew worked in synchrony, performing an intricate ballet of precision engineering and teamwork. Every second felt like a lifetime, as they fought to keep the ship intact amidst the onslaught of strange, powerful forces. Outside the ship, the rift pulsed once more, and this time, something else emerged from the twisting void, a shadow, larger than anything they had ever imagined. The form was nebulous, shifting and changing shape, its surface composed of an endless pattern of shimmering lights and abstract energy. It resembled a massive creature, its energy signature overwhelming, nearly suffocating. I don't think it's alive," Brasker said, her voice filled with awe. "But whatever it is, it's creating this storm. It's It's testing us. The massive creature, or whatever it was, began to move, its shape swirling around the ship like a cosmic predator. It circled the pride of Earth slowly, its presence almost a reflection of the very void that surrounded them. It was a perfect symbol of their peril, an entity that existed on the edge of reality, where physical laws barely held together. "Captain, we need to do something." Valderin spoke urgently from his post at the tactical station. "This thing is adapting to every move we make. We can't keep running from it." Korik's mind raced. The test, the trial, it wasn't just about surviving this creature. It was a test of humanity's ability to think beyond instinct. Beyond fear. "We have to confront it. Head on," Korik said, surprising even himself. "This thing represents the unknown. It's what the Iliator have placed before us, a symbol of everything we have yet to face. We're not going to back down." Solis, after a tense pause, spoke with determination. "You're right. If we don't confront it, we fail the trial. We show them that we're not ready. That we're too afraid." The crew, though shaken, rallied around their captain's resolve. They would not retreat. They would prove humanity's strength. "Full power to the forward shields. Prepare the weapons for a defensive stance," Korik ordered. Brasker worked quickly, trying to adjust the ship's energy signatures to mimic the patterns of the creature. "I don't know if this will work, but it might make us harder to detect. If we can confuse it, we might be able to escape or at least gain some advantage." The pride of Earth accelerated into the heart of the storm, the creature swirling closer and closer. With a massive, resounding hum, the ship fired a powerful pulse directly into the heart of the void creature. The ship shuddered as the blast struck true, sending ripples through the storm. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the creature began to lose its form. It flickered in and out of existence, as if it were unable to maintain its grip on reality. The ship had struck the right frequency, disturbing the energy field enough to destabilize the creature's hold. The massive form shrieked and dissipated, retreating back into the rift with a final, terrifying roar of energy. The void that had surrounded them started to settle, the rift's instability beginning to fade. Korik let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "We did it." But the trial was far from over. The pride of Earth had survived this first test, but the Iliator were still watching. What they had just faced was only the beginning. The real question remained, would humanity's resolve hold against the trials yet to come? As the ship steadied and the crew took a moment to recover, Captain Korik's voice rang out, filled with an unwavering confidence. "We've survived the first trial. And we will survive the others. The galaxy may not be ready for us, but we're going to show them that humanity will not be ignored." The journey ahead was uncertain. But humanity had proven one thing: they would fight for their place among the stars. The pride of Earth drifted through the remnants of the trial of the void, its hull battered but intact. The crew was exhausted, their nerves frayed after the intense, near-death struggle against the mysterious energy entity. However, there was no time to rest. The Iliator had issued their challenge, and the crew knew that this was only the beginning. The trial had been passed, but the deeper tests of humanity's spirit were yet to come. The crew's recovery was swift, but their eyes constantly flicked toward the vast unknown ahead. What would be the next trial? What other mysteries would the Iliator throw at them? Captain Korik had no answers, only an unshakable resolve to push forward. Humanity had faced its first true test in the stars, and they had survived. But what would happen next? As the ship continued to make its way deeper into the rift, the stars around them seemed to grow dimmer, their lights obscured by a strange, shimmering haze. A low hum resonated through the ship's systems, a constant reminder that they were not alone. "It feels like we're being drawn in," Solis murmured, her eyes glued to the instruments as they flickered and shifted in response to unseen forces. "Like there's something pulling us, deeper." Korik's expression hardened. "The Iliator are watching us. This is their game, and they're pulling the strings. We have to be ready for whatever comes next." Dr. Brasker, still monitoring the ship's systems, looked up from her station. "Captain, we've just received another transmission. It's from the Iliator." The crew gathered around as the transmission came through. The figure that materialized in the holographic projector was unmistakably alien, an entity of light and energy, like the one they had seen earlier, but this time, its form was more defined, more imposing. Its voice echoed with an almost divine quality, reverberating through the hull. "Humanity," the voice began, "you have proven your resilience by surviving the trial of the void. But you must know that you are not yet worthy. You have only taken the first step into a far greater journey. The path ahead is fraught with dangers you cannot comprehend, and if you falter, you will be eradicated. There will be no mercy." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Korik clenched his fists, but he stood firm. "What is it that you want from us?" he asked, his voice steady, though his mind raced. "Why put us through these trials?" The voice responded, the intensity of its tone rising. "We have watched your species for eons. Your kind has struggled to rise from the ashes of your world, and we have allowed you to grow. But now, you reach beyond your limits. You seek to claim the stars, but you are not yet ready for the responsibility that comes with it. The trials you face are not just tests of strength or wit. They are tests of your very nature. The way you face the unknown will define whether you are worthy of standing beside us, whether you are worthy of a place in the galaxy." The silence in the room was palpable. The implications of the Iliator's words weighed heavily on the crew. What did it mean to be worthy of the galaxy? What was the price of humanity's ambition? Could they truly prove themselves, or were they doomed to fall short of the Iliator's impossible standards? "We're ready to face whatever comes next," Korik said, his voice unwavering. "If this trial is meant to show us what we're capable of, then we'll rise to it. Humanity will not back down. Not now. Not ever." The Iliator's figure flickered, as if evaluating the captain's resolve. "Very well. You have passed the first test. But now you must prove your worth in the eyes of the Ascendants." The voice paused for a long moment, then continued, its tone shifting, becoming more cryptic and solemn. "The next trial will take you to the heart of the galaxy, to a place where no species dares to venture. It is a place of endless darkness, a place where even the greatest civilizations have been lost. You will journey into the unknown. And there, you will confront the true test of your species. Only those who can conquer their own darkness can hope to survive." With that, the transmission ended. The crew stood in stunned silence. No one dared speak for a moment. The room was thick with the gravity of what they had just heard. The unknown. The heart of the galaxy. Endless darkness. It was a challenge unlike anything humanity had faced before. The pride of Earth had survived the trial of the void, but this next test was something different, a trial not of physical strength or technological prowess, but of the soul. What did it mean to confront the darkness within? Valderin, ever the realist, spoke first, his voice measured but filled with concern. This is not something we can just fight through. This isn't just about survival. It's about us, our very identity. What happens if we fail? Korik turned to face the crew, his eyes unwavering. Then we'll die trying. But we won't fail. We're humanity. And we've faced darkness before. We've risen from the ashes, and we'll rise again. Dr. Brasker nodded, her expression fierce. We'll face it together. We have to believe that we're stronger than whatever this darkness is. Whatever it is, we can't let it break us. The crew stood united, their resolve as strong as it had ever been. The Iliator had issued their next challenge, one that would take them to the very edge of the galaxy. And what they would find there would be a trial of the heart and mind, not just of body. The pride of Earth changed course, heading deeper into the heart of the galaxy, toward the unknown. The darkness awaited, and humanity would not shrink from it. This was a test of their courage, their spirit, and their belief in one another. As the stars began to fade, the crew could only wonder what lay beyond. But one thing was certain, they were ready to face whatever came next, for they had already proven one thing beyond a shadow of a doubt: humanity would never back down. Not from any challenge. Not from anything. Not now. Not ever. The Pride of Earth ventured deeper into the heart of the galaxy, following the cryptic instructions of the Iliator. The stars grew more distant as they navigated into the region known only as the Unknown, a place where no ship had ever returned, where even the greatest civilizations had vanished without a trace. A vast expanse of endless darkness loomed ahead, a void that swallowed all light and all sound. The crew felt it immediately. The atmosphere in the command center was suffocating, tense. The ship's systems were working overtime, attempting to maintain their course despite the lack of stars or celestial bodies to guide them. The sensors flickered erratically, displaying nothing but an eerie blackness. Korik stood at the helm, staring at the monitors, his hand gripping the chair. "We don't know what we're walking into," he murmured, almost to himself. "But whatever it is, we're facing it together. The unknown doesn't scare us." Solis looked up from her station, her face ashen. "It's not just the void that's unsettling. Something's wrong with the ship's systems. It's like we're being pulled in different directions. The gravitational field, it's warping." Brasker stepped forward, her brow furrowed as she studied the data. "I've never seen anything like this. There's no explanation for this kind of phenomenon. It's like the space itself is alive. Or maybe it's dead." The crew was silent for a moment, the weight of Brasker's words sinking in. Something about this place was deeply unnatural. The closer they got to the heart of the unknown, the more oppressive the silence became. No radio signals, no cosmic background radiation, nothing. Just an infinite blackness that seemed to stretch on forever. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently, knocking everyone off their feet. The control panel sparked as a series of alarms blared. "Shields are down to 40%. Solis shouted, her voice cracking with urgency. "We're taking hits from an unknown source. I can't pinpoint it." Korik gripped the edge of the console. "Brace for impact. Status report." Before anyone could respond, the Pride of Earth was rocked again, the force of the blow even stronger this time. A massive ripple in space seemed to distort reality around them, bending the very laws of physics as the ship struggled to maintain its integrity. Brasker's voice cut through the chaos. This is no ordinary attack. It's not coming from anything we can see, it's coming from the space around us. The void itself is attacking us. Hold steady." Korik bellowed. "We're not turning back now. We've made it this far, and we're not going to let this place break us." As the ship continued to endure the onslaught, the crew worked tirelessly to keep the ship intact. Solis adjusted the ship's course, trying to stabilize their position as the gravitational distortions became more erratic. Valderin, ever calm in the heat of battle, worked alongside Brasker to stabilize the ship's core systems. But then, something new happened. A low, rumbling sound filled the ship, emanating from deep within the unknown. The ship's communications system buzzed to life with a single, garbled transmission. It was faint, barely audible, but the voice was unmistakable, a voice that seemed to come from every direction at once, reverberating deep within their bones. Asterisk, "You have entered the heart of the galaxy. The darkness you face is not just of space, but of your own minds. You must confront the shadows within yourselves if you are to survive. Only when you overcome your greatest fears will you pass this trial. The darkness will not relent." Asterisk. The transmission cut off abruptly, and a cold silence once again fell over the ship. Korik stood frozen, his heart pounding. So, this is the test, not just of our survival, but of our minds. Our fears. Valderin looked grim. "The Iliator warned us. The unknown isn't just an empty void, it's a reflection of what lies within us all. We're not fighting a battle against the galaxy or even against space itself. We're facing our own darkness. The realization hit the crew hard. This was no longer about their ship's resilience or their technology. This trial wasn't about fighting something outside of them, it was about fighting themselves. The crew, united but shaken, continued their work to stabilize the ship, all the while knowing that the real battle was just beginning. And then it happened. The ship's lights flickered and dimmed, and the very air around them seemed to grow colder. The walls of the command center twisted, distorting into an ever-shifting maze of shadows. A deep voice boomed through the ship, booming from every direction at once. Asterisk, do you dare to continue? Do you dare to face the truth? Asterisk. Each member of the crew felt it, an overwhelming presence that seemed to seep into their minds, dredging up memories and fears they had long buried. Coric's heart raced as the voice echoed within him. He saw himself, young, inexperienced, standing on the burning remnants of Earth, watching as his planet crumbled, helpless. His family lost, his friends scattered. That day, the day humanity was brought to the brink of extinction. He saw the faces of those who died in the wars before the Exodus, the ones who fought so that humanity could reach the stars. And now, he was leading them into the unknown, risking everything for the future. The voice came again. Asterisk, this is your greatest fear, Coric. You are not strong enough to lead them. You have already failed. Asterisk. But Coric clenched his fists, his resolve hardening. No. I didn't fail them then, and I won't fail them now. We survive, no matter what. As the shadows closed in on him, he found his strength. He reached out for the crew, pulling them from their personal fears, reminding them of the bonds they shared. They were humanity. And together, they could overcome any darkness. Don't let it win. Coric shouted, his voice carrying a fierce determination. We are humanity. We face the unknown together, and we do not falter. The others nodded, their fears momentarily banished. And just as quickly as it had begun, the darkness receded. The ship's systems slowly returned to normal, the twisted visions dissipating into the ether. The voice of the unknown, now silent, left them with one final message, asterisk, you have overcome. For now. Asterisk. The crew exhaled in unison, the tension lifting from their shoulders. They had passed the trial, not just as individuals, but as a unified force. Their greatest fear had been faced, and conquered. But the unknown still awaited them, a vast expanse that had yet to reveal all its secrets. We've made it through, Brasker said softly. But there's more ahead. Whatever it is, we're ready. Coric turned toward the vast, infinite void before them. This is just one test. And we'll face whatever comes next. Because humanity doesn't stop. Not now. Not ever. The pride of Earth continued its journey into the heart of the galaxy. And in that moment, the crew knew, the unknown might never truly be understood, but they would never back down from it. Not now. Not ever. The darkness of the unknown slowly began to dissipate as the pride of Earth pressed on, its engines humming steadily through the void. The crew was silent, each member reflecting on the trials they had faced. They had proven their resilience in the face of unimaginable challenges, but as they drew closer to the heart of the galaxy, there was a new weight upon them, a weight of uncertainty. The transmission from the Iliator had been a cryptic message, their warning lingering in the air like a specter. Asterisk, only when you overcome your greatest fears will you pass this trial. Asterisk, the crew had confronted their inner demons and emerged victorious, but what would happen now? Would they be allowed to continue their journey, or had they already crossed a line from which there was no return? Captain Coric stood at the helm, staring out into the abyss, the unknown stretching before them. His mind was sharp, his resolve unwavering. They had faced every test, passed every trial, but the true test was still to come. The Iliator had promised no mercy, and their judgment would be final. How much further? Coric asked, his voice calm but filled with unspoken tension. Solis glanced at the readouts. We're nearing the coordinates. According to the map provided, the center of the galaxy is just ahead. The signals are distorted, but still there. There's something waiting for us. Brace yourselves, Korik said, turning back to face his crew. The Iliator will be watching. This is the moment we prove that humanity deserves its place among the stars. The ship's systems hummed, and then, without warning, a massive energy surge filled the ship's sensors. A ripple of power emanated outward, distorting space around them. The pride of Earth rocked violently as if caught in the grip of an invisible hand. Shields are holding, but barely, Valderin said, his voice steady despite the chaos. It's like the fabric of space itself is being torn apart. Stay focused. Korik snapped. We're not stopping now. The crew worked in perfect harmony, their hands flying over the control panels as the ship's stabilizers fought to keep them on course. But the pressure was mounting. The deeper they traveled, the more intense the gravitational anomalies became. The space around them warped, stretched, and twisted, as though they were descending into the very heart of existence. Then, the distortion cleared. The ship's system stabilized, and the darkness receded. Before them, suspended in the black void, was a massive structure, an enormous ring of light, its surface shimmering with energy. It was unlike anything the crew had ever seen, an artificial construct of immense scale, ancient and powerful. As they approached, a voice resonated through the ship's communication system, low, resonant, and filled with an ancient, almost divine presence. Humanity. The crew stiffened, the voice echoing through their very souls. You have come far, but the journey is not yet complete. You have faced the trials of the void, confronted your fears, and risen above them. But now, you face the final test, the test of your will. Will you continue to fight for your place in the galaxy, or will you allow the shadows of your past to consume you? This is the Ascendant's judgment. The voice faded, leaving a ringing silence in its wake. The crew exchanged uncertain glances. This was it. The final challenge. But none of them flinched. Korik's voice cut through the tension. We're ready. We've fought through the void, faced our darkest fears, and come out stronger for it. We will not back down. He turned toward Brasker, his eyes locked on hers. You've studied this technology. What's the next step? Brasker swallowed, her fingers dancing across the control panel. It's difficult to understand. But the structure, the ring, it's a nexus of power. It's drawing on something ancient, something beyond our comprehension. We have to. Her words were cut off by a sudden surge of energy from the ring. The entire ship shuddered, and the lights flickered. In that instant, the ring pulsed with blinding light, and a powerful beam shot out, enveloping the pride of Earth. The crew gasped as the energy began to invade their minds, filling them with visions of untold power, of galaxies being born and destroyed in an instant, of civilizations rising and falling in the blink of an eye. Korik was frozen as he witnessed the visions, his heart pounding in his chest. He saw the fate of humanity, its potential, its greatness, its flaws. He saw Earth, both in its glorious future and its tragic past. He saw the wars, the sacrifices, and the triumphs. But more than that, he saw the truth. Humanity was not just a species, it was a force, a potential for something greater than the galaxy had ever known. As the visions subsided, the crew was left shaken, but unchanged. The energy beam faded, and the ring began to resonate with a low hum, as though it were acknowledging their presence. You have passed the trials, the voice intoned once more. You have proven your strength, your resilience, and your will. The Ascendants have judged you, and your place in the stars is now assured. The hum grew louder, more powerful, until the entire ship seemed to vibrate with the energy. It was overwhelming, intoxicating, as though they were standing on the precipice of something far greater than themselves. The ship lurched, and for a moment, the crew feared they were being pulled apart by the raw energy. But then, the force subsided, and the pride of Earth was released. The energy ring before them began to collapse in on itself, the immense structure folding inward like a flower closing after a storm. The darkness of the galaxy stretched out before them once more. The crew stood in stunned silence. They had faced the trials, conquered their fears, and been judged worthy by the Ascendants. But what now? Korik broke the silence, his voice steady but filled with awe. We've done it. We've earned our place in the galaxy. Solisa's eyes gleamed with pride. We're not just survivors anymore. We're part of something greater. Brasker turned to face Korik, her face filled with determination. This is only the beginning. Humanity is destined for more than just survival. We're meant to thrive. The pride of Earth moved forward, its engines humming as it sailed into the infinite cosmos. The galaxy was vast and filled with mystery, but humanity had proven that it was ready to take its place among the stars. And so, the epic journey of Earth's expansion had only just begun. What lay ahead was unknown, but humanity had learned a crucial truth: no matter how dark the void, no matter how impossible the challenge, they would never back down. Because humanity was not just a species, it was a force of nature. Not now. Not ever.